Have you ever thought about owning a silver domino, or maybe a pair of dice? Well, today you're going to watch me make some. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the workshop. If you're new here, my name's Joe and I'm from SJB. On this channel, I melt, pour, forge, polish and turn precious metal into one-of-a-kind custom pieces. Today's project is something I've honestly wanted to try for a long time, because it combines precision work, casting, finishing and a little bit of problem solving, all in one. These pieces were actually requested as part of a custom order for one of my best customers, the same guy I made the fine silver meat cleaver for. If you remember that piece, you'll know that he comes up with some seriously cool ideas. This time he wanted a solid silver domino and a matching pair of fine silver dice. He sent me in a mix of 1 ounce silver coins along with some 1 gram Wessex mint bars to be melted down and transformed into these items. Honestly, that's one of my favourite parts about projects like this, taking generic mass-produced silver that's pretty boring on its own, turning it into something completely unique that barely anybody has. Because I know this customer really well at this point, I already know exactly the kind of style that he likes. He's not looking for something overly polished or factory perfect. He loves that rough and ready, hand-poured look, with those perfect little imperfections that show these pieces were actually handmade and real effort has went into creating them. So before I started pouring anything, I needed to figure out exactly how much silver each piece was going to require. With projects like these, you need extra material for shaping, sanding and that final finish. It's definitely one of those builds where precision matters right from the beginning. Once I had everything planned out, it was time to get the silver molten. There's honestly never a bad time to watch silver melt. The coins and bars slowly collapse in on themselves until everything turns into this bright mirrored-like liquid pool. It's still incredible to watch every single time. Now, for these pieces, there's definitely a balance between precision and keeping that handmade character. I don't want them looking machine-made or sterile in any way. The goal is to make something that feels handcrafted while keeping the original shapes and details that were planned. Once I'd got the molds ready and started pouring the silver, it's one of those moments where everything happens pretty quick. You just have to trust the preparation and commit to the pour. Once the pours were done and the silver had time to solidify, I pulled the castings out to see whether everything had worked the way I wanted it to. That's always the moment where you either feel complete utter relief or immediately start planning a second attempt. Luckily, they gave me a really solid base to work from. With a bit of shaping and cleanup, they were going to turn out exactly the hand-poured, rugged pieces the customer was after. Of course, raw cast silver never looks clean for long. There's always oxidization, scale, rough spots, and extra material to remove. So the next step was the cleanup. That's the part that takes patience, lots of sanding, checking surfaces over and over again, but still wanting to preserve some of that natural hand-poured character instead of polishing every single detail away. Once I had the shapes dialed in, I could start adding the details and bring these pieces to life. I started cutting the domino pips while also working on the numbering for the dice. Making the dice especially was a lot more involved than I'd originally expected. There's a lot of shaping involved if you want them to feel good in hand while still keeping that rugged poured silver look. It's one of those jobs where you remove a tiny amount of material, check it, remove a little more, check it again, and repeat. And yes, I made absolutely sure the silver dice layout was correct before stamping anything. I know for a fact somebody in the comments would have definitely called me out if the numbers were wrong. Once the details were punched in, I moved on to the final polishing, and that's where everything comes together. The silver starts shining, the edges clean up beautifully, and all the detail suddenly pops. The dominoes and the dice ended up with exactly the kind of look I was hoping for. Heavy, solid, handmade and full of character. And because they're solid, fine silver, they've got some serious weight to them. I love projects like this because they're different from the usual pours. They push me to slow down and focus on precision instead of just melting and casting. So a huge shout out once again to David, one of my best customers, for trusting me with another custom pour. And if you enjoyed this one, make sure to leave a like, subscribe and follow if you're new, and let me know in the comments what other silver items you'd like to see me make next. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.